I think trans people are mentally ill, but I would never call myself homophobic.
Well, that's fair because you're transphobic, not necessarily homophobic. Homophobia is bigotry against queer sexuality. Transphobia is bigotry against queer gender identity and expression. Just wanted to point that out.
My thoughts, opinions, belief is if you are trans, you are mentally ill.
And my thoughts, opinions, beliefs are you are entitled to your transphobia. You are entitled to your bigotry. You are entitled to your own thoughts, opinions, and beliefs, but you are not entitled to your own facts. So you stating that an entire demographic is mentally ill, that's an assertion of fact, not simply your opinion. Mental illnesses are not a matter of personal opinion. They are medical diagnoses, and your vapid, rank ignorance pretty much portrays the fact that you are nowhere near qualified to make such assertions. And since the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, currently in its 5th edition, which is the principal authority for all psychiatric diagnoses and published by the American Psychiatric Association, going by actual studies and peer-reviewed literature that goes back decades and comprises the medical consensus position that says trans people are not mentally ill, gender dysphoria is not a mental illness, it is the inescapable distress of one's gender identity not aligning with their assigned sex at birth, to which the preferred method of relieving the distress is to transition, you are in opposition to the medical consensus. In other words, your position is at odds with science. And I look at people like you in the same way that I look at flat earthers and others who go with their gut rather than with what the science actually is. Your piss poor positions are just straight laziness because lifting a finger to actually research from a reputable source is just too much work. Case in point.
I think our society has corrupted so many people into thinking that if you transition, you will be happier, and that is not the case. Your suicidal rates will go up. It will shoot through the roof.
See, you just pulled that straight out of your ass. Cite the data that transitioning makes trans people suicidal, because the actual data says the exact opposite. According to the National Institutes of Health, about half of all trans people attempt suicide at least once during their lifetime. However, when trans people are actually able to access gender-affirming care, suicidal ideation drops by 73%. And that should be intuitively obvious. That when people are allowed to be who they are, to no longer feel compelled to present as something they know they are not, they tend to be happier with life in general.
If you're telling me that you are happy to transition, that you were happy before transitioning or whatnot, why are you transitioning? What did you hate so bad about your body or the thing that you're changing that made you have to go under surgery to get it changed? You can't tell me that you're stable, yet you want everything about you to change.
So first of all, as a woman, you should very well understand why people don't always love the bodies they came in. And that is certainly not restricted to just trans people. The entire cosmetic procedure industry, which nets about $700 billion annually, includes medical procedures like Botox, chemical peels, dermabrasion, laser hair removal, and of course, plastic surgery. This is all to cater to people who elect to go under the knife just to feel happy and comfortable in their own skin. And that can dramatically improve a person's mental health. Secondly, gender-affirming care isn't just about surgery. You freaks act like people just walk into a clinic and say, "Hi, I'm trans, lop these tits off, please." That's not how it works. It's mostly about social transitioning and hormone therapy so that they can live as who they truly are, inside and out, openly, proudly, and without any need for apology. Surgery is typically the last thing that happens, if it happens at all. Some trans people choose not to have surgery. It's a personal choice. So no, you're not homophobic, you're transphobic. And despite your little blurb about not hating anyone, everyone deserves respect and kindness, but your unpopular opinion BS is intentionally courting the same mean-spirited, bigoted cretins who just live to pile on the trans community every chance they get. Because misery sure does love its company. So don't kid yourself. If your idea of helping people be happy with who they are involves directly attacking their identity, telling them they must continue to suffer their dysphoria in silence and pretend that it's not there, telling them they are mentally ill when they are not, which is the very definition of gaslighting, well, that is hate. And saying it with a soft voice doesn't make it less hateful.